Tokyo is my favorite city, and I hope you enjoyed it a lot during your stay here. But it's also a vast city. There's so many things to do, so you might easily get lost or get at a loss what to do next. So today I'd like to go over some tips that are making your trip easy. The first one is about sightseeing. When you plan your trip to Tokyo, you might be careful not to put too much list in your travel itinerary. There are so many things to see, but the places in Tokyo can take a little bit longer than you think. So especially if you put too many reservations, you get too busy and you might not be able to see some surrounding areas of the top spots. So good idea is to put 1 or 2 plans in the morning and afternoon, and around there you can find the relaxing time and explore as it goes. And also you might want to make sure to check the calendar when you visit museums. Many museums have Mondays off. In case Monday is national holiday, they move the day off to Tuesday. And Japan has lots of national holidays on Monday, so you might want to check the calendar before you leave, especially if that is important for your trip. Many places you can just walk in, but some places like Shibuya Sky, the observatory, they accept reservation 2 weeks before the trip. If you are visiting on Saturday, the 2 weeks before Saturday, 0 a.m. Japan time is the day you have to make reservation. For example, in the east coast of the United States, that will be 10 a.m. of Friday. So that is something you may want to check on the calendar. Especially if you like to visit sunset time to night time, it can be very busy and already sold out 2 weeks before on the day they sell it. Depends on where you're from, but you might be overwhelmed by the number of people in Tokyo. In this busy city, the important thing is to let people pass by you. On the escalator in Tokyo, usually people stand on the left side and let people go by on the right side. When it comes to another city in Japan, that can be on the other side. Like Osaka is on the right side and people go by on the left side. But this is just some social norm and not a must rule. So in case you need to hold the right side for your physical difficulty, please do not hesitate to do that. Some places are asking you not to walk on the escalator and stay on the both side. And also it's important to let your body flow in the crowd. Some places have different rules like walk on the left side, right side, but really depends on the structure of the building and how the people flow are. It can be different depending on the place. It's good to go with the flow of the people. And also important thing is not to stand in the middle of the street or check the smartphone as you walk. This is also, there are a lot of warning everywhere for Japanese people too. But seeing the smartphone and walking can be quite dangerous. You might be get hit by car or trains, or more scary is you might push someone to put that person in danger. So that is something you might want to avoid being in the big crowd of Tokyo. Tokyo has lots of different people and huge population, but somehow you might find it moving smoothly. And that is because there's some unknown manners, like being quiet on trains and just follow the flow of the people. And probably the biggest thing to stop the flow is getting stuck on the gate of the train. If you don't have enough balance in your IC card or transportation IC card that I talk about after this, or maybe get a wrong ticket, you cannot go through the gate at the stations. Everyone almost bump into you if you get stuck on the gate. So of course that happens, and recently it happened to me twice because I had to put the IC card, but I was kind of tapping credit card accidentally. So everyone almost bumped into me. So even locals do that. Can be just me, but so you don't have to worry too much about it, but that's something good to know. And as you walk the city, you might wonder where is the restroom. And a good place to look for restroom is in the station. Usually restroom is inside the gate of the station. So before you leave the gate, you might want to make sure you drop by the restroom. Also good places to look for the department store, big malls, or coffee shop, convenience stores. But when it comes to the convenience store, in Tokyo city center, sometimes you cannot see restroom. Usually restroom is only for the employees or not open for public. It's not guaranteed that you can find restroom in convenience stores. In Tokyo, even public restrooms usually have toilet paper, but if you are worried about the quality of the tissues, you might want to be able to bring your own tissues. Even though most of places accept credit card nowadays, some places, especially small shops, restaurants, still says cash only. Unless you stay in Japan just for a day or a few hours, it might be convenient to get a Japanese yen cash. If you go to places like near Shinjuku Station's Omoide Yokocho, you see some places you can exchange currencies, and also you can find 7 bank that you see in the convenience store of 7-Eleven or near the station. And this is a good machine to get the cash from your credit card or debit card for international travelers. And now the most important part is the food. Finding a restaurant in Tokyo can be a little bit stressful, and there are so many restaurants, so many choices, and you see lots of signs above your head. And you might have no idea if it's a tourist spot or a popular place for locals. When food is very important and you like to eat something authentic, it might be a good idea to make a reservation, especially if you are coming with a big family or in a big group. Tabelog is a website that Japanese people use, and you can also make a reservation. And recently they launched the application too, so you can check their website, and there are lots of other sites too. So if it's intimidating to go to those restaurants, like especially if you're like solo traveler or the price wise it can be too much, the good idea is to go for lunch. Many restaurants, individual restaurants, even expensive restaurants, sometimes they offer lunch, and it's a good opportunity to enter the restaurant, and sometimes they have a showcase, not really showcase, but sometimes they have a lunch set for much more reasonable price. Something to be careful is those lunchtime usually open 11 or 11:30, and it can be a long line by the lunchtime. So you might want to make sure to arrive that place by 11 o'clock. And I don't really talk about individual restaurants in my channel, but the good idea is not to be afraid of using chain restaurants. It might be common not to use chain restaurants during a travel and trying to eat more local foods, but that can be making your trip very difficult. Unless food is a really main target of your travel, it's also a good idea to use chain restaurants. Japanese chain restaurant, I can even think of 20 to 30 right now, and you might not get the highest quality products, but you get so good products for the reasonable cost. And I believe the chain restaurant survived in Tokyo, where the consumers' demands for the quality and cost performance is very high. I think they are very good. And if you don't want to plan too much, it might be also a good idea to look around and just go into the restaurant. But something you might want to be careful is it's better not to follow someone saying there's a good restaurant. Sometimes when you're in busy area like Shinjuku, Shibuya, there might be someone who talks to you either in Japanese or English. There's a good restaurant and I can take you to the good seat. But you might end up at the expensive restaurant for what you get. So especially if you are like solo traveler, you might feel lonely and it might be good to talk to someone friendly, talk to you in English, but you might want to be careful not to follow anyone. So, and also important topic is street food. I wasn't sure what street food when I started this channel, but so my image of street food is something you eat in the festival, like summer festival, you get like the food that you eat on the street. But in Japan, it's not a really common thing to eat as you walk around. So I think it's basically the kind of store that sells the food on the street, but there is no place to eat. So I think in that case, I recommend you to eat near the restaurant, and in case there is a trash, return to that stores or bring back to the hotel and eat it. Well, if you are walking along on the street with the food or cups, it can be a little dangerous that you bump into someone, and also you don't find much trash in Tokyo. So if you have the plastic bags and wet tissues that you can get at drugstores, it can make your trip much easier. So you can get anything and you can just eat it. The next one is transportation. When it comes to Tokyo, probably the easiest way to get around is the trains. To get on the train, the easiest tip is to get the transportation IC card. If your stay is short, you can also just purchase the ticket. Something you might want to be careful is you might want to make sure to purchase the ticket right next to the gate of you are entering. Some stations are very close to different companies. In Tokyo, there are 2 subway companies and 1 JR, which is elevated trains, and several different private railways. If you purchase the ticket from wrong company, you cannot use the ticket for the company you like to take. So that is something you might want to check before you purchase. There are several one-day tickets or 24 hours tickets, but most of them are for a certain train company, and when you get around Tokyo across the different train companies, it can be a little bit complicating. Some train company you can use, some not, and you get stuck. So it's actually make it more like a maze or a puzzle. It might be actually better just to get IC card. And when you enter the platform, there is a map showing the relationship of the cars you are taking and the platform of your destination station. So you find your destination station, and if there is an escalator near the car number 3, you can move to car number 3 while you're waiting for the train to save your time. And when you arrive there, you can save your time, and also you can avoid making mistakes. Especially if you're taking subway and you are using elevator, escalator, it's important to check the route to the ground, because some place you have the escalator to the middle and there's nothing anymore, only stairs, long stairs. In Tokyo, almost all stations are equipped with escalator or elevators. But train is not always a choice. For example, when you go from like Nishi Shinjuku to Shibuya, Roppongi to Shibuya, bus is actually convenient. And in Tokyo, you get on the bus from the front, tapping your IC card or put cash. Get off from the rear door or middle door, some people call it. And you don't have to tap the card again when you get off. When you get off, you can click the button and notify the driver. In Tokyo, for safety reasons, the bus doesn't start until you get seated or hold somewhere. If you start to walk around the bus while the bus is moving, the bus driver warns you or stops the bus, so make sure that you stay seated or hold somewhere. And Tokyo might be famous that taxi is expensive, but it's also a good idea to spare some budget for it, because sometimes taxi is much easier. Just like anywhere in the world, you can raise your hand and you can stop taxi. But when it says certain sign, even if the car is empty, the car probably passes by because the driver is going somewhere. So you might not be able to recognize, but this is a sign when they are already hired by another person. In case you can't find a taxi nearby, you can use a Go app. We don't have a system like a Uber. There's no share ride in Japan, and if you have an app, you can just call taxi and not the regular share ride comes. But still, you can call the taxi to wherever you are. The fare is not guaranteed at the point you get on, but you see the estimate of the price. So if you don't want to get bothered with all the train system or like an IC card, it might be a good idea that you get on taxi using app. So you can skip everything using credit card. So maybe you can spare some budget for taking taxi in Japan. Thank you for watching. Have a great trip to Tokyo. Have a great week until the next video.